Well, my friends, here I am with part 3, and I've got the second version of my beautiful Autumn Breeze lace poncho. This is a more casual look. I call the first one the gold color, the beautiful autumn colors. I call that more of a dressy. It's just longer, and it has the ribbing at the neckline and also on the hem, which you can look at the previous pictures. This is more the boho or casual look. Same chart, same everything, except I didn't take it as long, and at the end I share with you how to add some simple fringe, a simple border with just a couple of extra rows of knitting, and how to just have your eyelet rows for your fringe. So this is, I just wanted to share it with you so that you can see. Like I say, everything is the same chart. Hey, bird. And it looks great either way. Short, dress it up or dress it down. All right, let's get right to the chart, and let's get ready to work some repeats. Happy knitting. Well, my friends, I am back. I am back with part 3 of our beautiful Autumn Breeze lace poncho. And we are knitting top down in the round from a chart from the book by Melissa Leitman. And I'm telling you, it's a fun knit, it's an easy knit, it's just perfect for beginners if you're new, not new to knitting, but maybe new to chart reading, and seasoned knitters also. And this is chart number 95 if you're not going to follow me by the chart, and you're going to do there's the written word in her book if you have it. All right, so let's get right into it, because I'm real excited to get this on tape and to get you to the finish line. All right, I'm just going to hold here just for a second so that you can get a good screenshot of this chart. As you see, I have enlarged it just so that it will be easy for not only for you to see, but for me to see too. So take a good screenshot of it. And we're going to get started. When I left, I had worked several rows with you, rows 5 through 36. We had to work that all the way through before we can start the repeats, which is what we're going to start tonight. Now, all we have to do for the repeats is come down to here's the repeat box. See, it's in black here. All right, right there. All we have to do is come back down to row 13 where it starts in the repeat box and work 13 through 36. 13 through 36 as many times as you want, or to the length you want for your poncho. And of course, I'm going to help you with all that as we get to the end. All right, so the first thing that I did, since we had prepared the box for the first section, to prepare the box for the repeat, I took a yellow highlighter and I simply went down this side of the box and this side. This is just such an easy little trick to help you in doing the repeats. Now, I'm not the only one that does this. A lot of people do this, but it just helps me so much. It helps me to knit faster and have less mistakes too. So as we knit across, the yellow will tell me to stop and go back up to the front of the box. So I'm not confused on where do I go. You go to where the yellow is. Then you repeat it and then go back as many times as you need. Does that make sense? Okay, so I can't think of anything else since all the symbols are the same. Those 3 little symbols have made this beautiful chart. And I hope you're enjoying it. Don't forget, we have a blue box down here. I just went ahead and had to make this a little darker so that you could see it. I almost whacked it off down here. But I'll remind you when we get to it. So now, let me show you, let me get my knitting out, and we're going to get ready to knit, because on this repeat I'm going to work a few rows with you, but I'm only going to repeat in the front section. If you're just knitting across the back and not putting a lace, then you're not going to have any problem. You'll just follow me when we get to the front of the chart. If you are a seasoned knitter and you're knitting the front and the lace in the front and the back, you'll still be able to follow me, I'm sure, no problem. Like I said, this is a very simple chart. It's simple knitting, and I think, you know, I don't think you'll have a problem with it. So I believe that's all for this. So let me, like I said, let me just make sure you get a good screenshot, print it out, make any notes on your copy that you need, and I'll get my knitting and we will get started. As we get started, just quickly, I'm just going to be working the front of the chart, and as you can see, I have worked around to the front section of the chart. I'm on the right side. I just finished the row 36, which was a wrong side, and I had flagged it. I took the flag off, and now I have worked my way around to the very front lace of the chart. And as you can see, this way to make it'll go a lot faster, and you know, there won't be so much repetition. It'll be nice in a nice clean knitting if I just work just the front. Alright, and right off the bat, let's not forget our blue box. So that's, as I'm working up, we are on round 13, or well, we'll just say row on the chart. On here, when we're knitting, it's the rounds, but here we're at 13. We're at row 13 by the chart. I have it marked. This is also a good little handy thing to just get some of those little sticky pointers, just so that you won't lose your place. And like I said, we're going to be knitting by landmarks and really learning how to read and look at our stitches. So as you can see, I'm just knitting up to the front of the chart. I see my little blue marker. Remember, thought of that at the last minute. If I have a little blue box right here for this little extra lace, remember we had the extra lace in front right here. It's only 5 stitches. So I put a little blue marker to tell me, hey, stop. Stop, look, and listen, Jay. Alright, so I get up to my blue box marker. Look, blue box, blue marker. You'll learn to think of little things to help yourself. So all I have to do is just slide, you know, slide the marker. I'm not used to working with these, but I'll do my best. Alright, we're on right here, round 13. But in the blue box, the first thing we have to do is knit 2 stitches together. It leans to the right. So I'm going to knit 2 stitches together. Okay. Then I'm going to yarn over and then knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. See it? Alright, so stop. That takes care of one side of the extra lace in the front. Now when I slide the marker, I am on round 13, right here. My little marker fell off, but that's okay. I'm right here. Now the fun starts. We're on the outside of the box. The first thing we have outside of the repeat box is a yarn over. So we started with the yarn over. So I'm simply going to yarn over my needle, whether you knit continental or a thrower like me. Then inside of the box, the first stitch I see is an empty box, so that's knit 1. Okay, then yarn over. The next stitch I see leans to the left, so we're going to do a slip, slip, knit, just like we worked all the way up to this point. And then there is a knit 3, so I'm going to knit 1, 2, and 3. There's a yarn over right in the center, in the pink. Remember, I said we're going to start knitting by landmarks. So I yarn over. Now the next stitch outside, on this side of the center, right here, it leans to the left, so I'm going to slip, slip, knit again. Then I only have 2 stitches. There's 2 empty boxes, so knit 1, 2, then the next symbol leans to the right. I'm going to knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, stop. Now we can take a breath and I can show you. Alright, once we reach this yellow highlight at the end of the box on this side where you can see all the stitches we have left, so that's where the repeat comes in. So we take our eye. This tells us to take our eye back up to the beginning of the box only, not outside the box but inside the box. This is where we're going to start. This is where knitting from the landmarks will start. This stitch right here in the yellow, this first stitch in the box, is going to be your very important landmark. Every time you hit it, you'll know you've done everything right and it lines up. This stitch here in the center will be a landmark. It's in pink. And then the next landmark will be here on this side of the repeat box. So let me show you how easy it's going to work. Alright, so once I have that last yarn over, I'm back to the front of the box. Now look, see where that knit 1 will fall. See that column? See how it lines up? Can you see that? Right there. Alright, so that is my knit 1. Every time I reach it, I can tell myself landmark. I reached it. Yarn over. The next thing again is slip, slip, knit. Then knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the next stitch is the yarn over and it's in the center. Alright, if you look right here, see this little section here? Here's the center of that section of stitches. These yarn overs right here is the center. So I get right there. I am right here. I need to do a yarn over. Okay. Then I leans to the left, so it's going to be a slip, slip, knit, knit 2, 1, 2, then knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, stop. Back to the front of the box, the repeat box. What do I find at the repeat box? The knit 1. Look where the knit 1 falls again. It's the landmark stitch. So I know I'm right so far. I'm just knitting along. I'm right. So I knit 1. Then it's a yarn over. Then there's a slip, slip, knit. Then the next thing is knit 3 stitches together. Then the yarn over. Where does it fall? Right in the center. Right on top of that yarn over. Right there in the center. Yarn over. Now slip, slip, knit. Now on this side I only knit 2. 1, 2. Then there's a knit 2 stitches together. Then there's a yarn over in the yellow, stop. Go back up to the front of the box. Only. What do I find waiting for me there? A landmark, the knit 1. Can you see it right there? There's a knit 1 stitch right in that column. So I know it's right again. So make sure you have that last yarn over, then knit 1. That's the landmark. Yarn over, slip, slip, knit. Okay. Then there's a knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Slide my stitches up here. Then there's a yarn over right in the center. Then there's another slip, slip, knit, knit 2, 1, 2. Now the symbol leans to the right. Look at that, how those 2 right there that you're going to knit 2 together, yarn over, stop. we have more stitches. So that tells me I need to go back up to the beginning of the box and to my first landmark again, then knit 1. Look where it's going to fall. It's going to fall in at that column right there. So I'm back at the front of the box, always to the yellow, yellow to yellow. Okay, so that last yarn over, then I have the knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, okay, then knit 3, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over, I'm right here in the center, yarn over. Now on this side of the center, I'm going to slip, slip, knit again, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 stitches, 1, 2, now I'm going to knit the symbol, leaning to the right, so I knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, stop. Look to see about how many more stitches I have. Oh yes, I've got, you see, I have more stitches. That means I have to go back to the front of the box only. And at the front of the box, there's my landmark, the knit 1. See, it falls there in the column again. So with that yarn over already in place, so knit 1, yarn over, slip, 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 knit, knit 3, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over in the center, then I slip, slip, knit, knit 2, 1, 2, then I knit 2 stitches together. I hope this is not too hard to see. It's so crumpled up because I've got such a big piece of fabric. Knit 2 stitches together right here, yarn over, stop. Let's see. Okay, now once I stop, I look to see about how many more stitches. I still need to go back up to the front of the box. So after I stop, I go back up to the front. There's my knit 1 stitch, so I knit 1, that's a landmark, yarn over, then slip, slip, knit, knit 3, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2, 1, 2, let's see, slip, slip, knit 2, that's right. Now I knit 2 stitches together right here, yarn over, stop. Okay, now you can see I don't have anything left except 1 stitch, and guess what? If I go outside the box right here, I have the 1 stitch left. So that yarn over is right there. I knit 1 outside of the box, then I have to make the last yarn over, slide the marker, stop. I got a blue marker to remind me I have to finish this side of the blue box. As soon as I do that yarn over, slide the marker, okay, I'm just going to hold that yarn over in place and knit 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3, yarn over, and it's a slip, slip, knit. It leans to the left, so slip, slip, knit. Whoops. Well, I'm on metal needles, so they slide for me. I should have got it on my bamboos, I guess. Okay, so look, all I have to do is slide the marker now. I can breathe, and I can continue to knit around to my end of the round marker. Let me just get a few stitches here on here. So I just knit. And I'm going to stop, hold it out, without hopefully losing any stitches, to let you see that things are lining up. That the stitches, the pattern is lining up, because I hit every landmark as I knit round 13. Now you're going to continue around until you get to the beginning of the marker round. Remember, I've got mine in red. Alright, you will slide the marker, knit one stitch, and then you're going to have to remember, so that you know it's the wrong side, even though we're going to knit, you're going to flag it. So once you slide the marker and knit one, you're going to place your marker and then start knitting all the stitches. You don't have to purl or anything, just knit all the stitches back around until you come back to the marker, and then we'll take the flag off, and guess what? We will be on round 15. I'm going to move that up. Once we start round 15, we'll remove the marker, the little flag. But take a look. And take your time, and I will be back, and we'll work round 15 together. What do you think? I'm telling you, it's a lot better when I'm not talking or you're just sitting knitting by yourself. It will go so fast. All right, but for now, take your time, and I'll be back shortly. All right, I'm in the front of my poncho again. So we are ready to work round 15. I'm working in the front, but if you're working front and back, you could have gone ahead and worked it, of course. Because once you take off the flag, then we're on the right side. Alright, so I am just knitting up. And of course, just to help me and hopefully help you to get some tricks of your own, so that I would not run past that blue box or the little extra lace border. How pretty that is in the front. I switched to a blue marker, and boy, that really helps me. I know immediately stop. I got that blue marker, I stop, I slide the marker. All right, down here on my blue box, it was row 9 if you remember. On this side, I knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, now knit 3. There's 3 stitches. So I knit 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now slide my marker. That will put me on round 15 or row 15 on the chart. See, here it is. Alright, so once I slide that marker, of course you have to start with a yarn over. So I yarn over the needle, and there's one box outside of the repeat box, so I knit that. Then there's a box on the inside of the repeat box, so it really is like knit 2, yarn over. Now slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over. Now see where that knit 1 in the center falls, because that's one of our landmarks, and it falls right on top of a yarn over from the previous right side. And there's my yarn over right there. And so I'm getting ready to knit 1. Okay, then yarn over. I'm on the other side now. Slip, slip, knit, reach back and knit. Uh-oh, did I just knit? Hold on. Let me just go back. I was talking. If you need to just, there's a yarn over, now slip, slip, knit. Okay, then there's knit 1. Then there's knit 2 stitches together. Yarn over, stop. yellow to yellow. Bring my eye back up to the beginning of the repeat box only, and you'll find there's a landmark that knit 1 again. Alright, so see, now we can really pick up a little, we can get a rhythm, we can pick up, but don't, don't overdo it, because you do not want to have to go back and take stuff out. So knit 1, yarn over, but you can get a rhythm now. Slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1 in the center, landmark right there on top of that yarn over in the pink. Okay. Then yarn over, then I'm slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, stop, back to the front of the box. Whoops, I did something wrong, so let me just go back and correct myself. It's so hard when you're talking and knitting too. So knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1. Okay, then I knit 2 stitches together. Oh, let's see, I may have a, oh, I think I must have left off a yarn. I left off a yarn over on a previous row. Just see here, what did I do? This is good. Sometimes you just have to. Alright, I know I should have a yarn over, see, alright, right here, I left off a yarn over because remember, I should have a yarn over. I felt it when I was doing it on the previous row, but I didn't want to stop. Should be a yarn over right here, then a knit 1 yarn over. So all I have to do, I'm just going to go here. I'm going to slide that stitch over, and I'm just going to go down and pull up a, just kind of pull a stitch up where the yarn over should be, put it on the needle, and I'm going to slide that stitch back. Now, let's go. So, if you're lost, I did the center, so you can always find the center, yarn over right above that yarn over, right in the center, there it is, knit 1. Okay, then a yarn over, there's that. Then there I have a slip, slip, knit, knit 1. Then I'm going to have a knit 2 stitches together, but I had dropped a yarn over. I remember feeling that when I was doing it. Knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, now stop. And the way I knew it was wrong, because I did not line up when I went to the front of the box, that knit 1 did not line up in the column. See how quick how I could read the stitches? You're going to learn that too. Alright, so now I'm in the right place. I'm back here. It's just so much easier when I'm not talking. Knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1 in the center above the yarn over on this side, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, see? Knit 2 stitches together, they're lining up, yarn over, back to the front of the box, and guess what? I hit the landmark this time. I hit the column where I should have the knit 1, where I'm going to put the knit 1. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, then 1 right in the center on top of that yarn over, knit 1 right there. Let me make sure my camera's on, yep. Alright, then yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, back to the front of the box, stop. There's the landmark, knit 1, so I knit that 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, knit 1 in the center, in the pink box, right there, knit 1. Then there's a yarn over after that, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, stop. Back to the front of the box. Did I hit the landmark? Yes, I did. There's the knit 1. There's where I'm going to knit the 1 right there in that column. See? There's that last yarn over, so I knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, whoops, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over. Whew. Okay, now you knit 1 in the center in that pink box, you knit 1 right over that yarn over, then the next yarn over comes up, then it's a slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, stop. Let's see how many. Yep, I think we have to go back up. See if I can get my... Okay, so let's go back up and see if we hit the landmark of the knit 1. There it is right there. Yes, there's that last yarn over. So I knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip. Ooh, my hands want to cramp. Slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together. Could be because these metal needles, they make my hand cramp sometimes. Then I'm going to yarn over. I'm right here. I'm yarning over, getting ready to knit right in the center. I knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 1, knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, stop. Okay, if you look, I only have 2 stitches left. And if you look right on the chart, after I do this yarn over here, outside the box, I have 2 stitches, 1, 2. So I know everything is right. So I knit those 2, 1, 2. Then I make the last yarn over, slide the marker, stop. Now I'm in the blue, because I've got my blue marker to tell me these 5 stitches belong to the blue box. Down here at the bottom, you can see the first 3 stitches. Hold that yarn over, knit 1, 2, 3, yarn over, leans to the left, so I slip, slip, knit. Slide the blue marker, and breathe. Just knit a few stitches just to make sure. Okay, so now I'm going to let you continue around. Oh, well, I have to continue around also, but let's take a look and see how things line up again. We're just knitting by landmarks. As we work around. Now, I'm going to work around to the beginning of the round marker so that when I get ready to start, so I can remind you again, as you can see, I don't know if yours, but mine is really getting tight, so I want to change my knit number 9 to a longer cord. So the best time to change it is on a wrong side row. So I'm going to as we get around to the mark, I'm going to come back one more time just to show you and remind you how to change your needle. At least it works for me. You may have your own, but I'm going to show you again how I change my needle. I change it in the same place every time to make it easier. And on a wrong side row. So I don't have to worry about the chart. All right, continue around and I'll see you back in just a minute. All right, so I'm coming up. I've worked up to, we just finished the front. So then I knit on around as I'm getting ready to, I'm up at my beginning of the round marker. And this is where I want to remind you how to switch your needles if as your poncho is getting, the stitches are increasing and it's getting too tight, you might want to change. Okay, now if you work on interchangeable needles, you can simply order, I guess you can order longer cords. So you'd have a number 9, same size, but a longer cord. I work with fixed needles, okay? And so every once in a while when I'm ordering off Amazon and I need to maybe do, go over the amount I need to go over to get my prime, I'll just look for 960 or 48, any kind of long needle that I use, my number 9s, because I knit a lot of sweaters and I like having long cords. I don't use interchangeables. But if you do, I'm sure you maybe can order just the cord. But here it is. Here's a number 9, same as the one I'm knitting on, but I think this is 60 inches. So this is when you want to change. Works better on a wrong side row. So now the first thing I do, I work up to 2 or 3 stitches before the end of the round marker. I'm using red. I cap this side of the work so I don't lose any stitches. I go ahead and cap it and start pushing the stitches down on that side. I take the new needle that I'm going to knit onto. I go ahead and stick it into that first stitch over here. Look for the yarn, the working yarn. Make sure it's in the back of the new needle. Here's a new needle. Here's the yarn in back. And I'm simply going to start knitting, because we are knitting, getting ready to flag it for the wrong side. See, I'm just knitting like this. Make sure I put up enough yarn so I don't have to stop. And 2 or 3 stitches just before the marker is enough time to kind of get it there, okay? Then I slide the marker. I knit 1 stitch to hold it. Always knit that 1 stitch so nothing falls off. Well, it got a little tang of that. Look, I'm not used to these little funny markers, so they don't flip right or something. I'll get used to them though. So I knit that 1 stitch though to hold the marker in place. Now I'm going to grab my flag. It tells me this is a wrong side row, and all you have to do is knit every stitch. You don't have to purl. You don't have to work the chart. You just start knitting around. And I'm knitting. I get up there, I slide the marker. You can tell it's the wrong side because there's a yarn over that hasn't been worked. So I know I'm on. So this would be, since we already worked 15, this will be 16 right here. So you just keep that, but you don't have to do anything. You just now start knitting around. Just like this. I'm going to look and see what I have. See, I'm knitting from 1 needle. It's going to give me a little more room to accommodate all these stitches that we are working the repeats now. And you're going to get a lot of stitches. So let me just knit a few. Then, see, just knitting around. This is the wrong side. I know, and I have it flagged. Right there. Now, continue around till you're back to the marker again. You'll be on the new needle. And then we will start here. I will meet you and continue on around to the front so that we can work round 17 or row 17 on the chart right here. I'm going to continue around on the wrong side and then back to the front for the right side, and I will see you, like I said, at number 17. Nice and easy. easy to change your needle, so I don't have to worry about the chart or anything or counting or purling. I'm just going to knit all the stitches because the flag tells me that's what I should do. All right. Find yourself a longer needle if you need it, a needle with a longer cord, and I will see you back shortly. Flag is up. All right, I wanted to come back and just talk a little bit. As you can see, I finished transferring all my stitches to my longer circular needle with a longer cable on it. Now my stitches can spread out a little more, and you can knit faster because you can kind of see what you have on your needles, and it's all bunched up. You don't want to, you want to be able to see your landmarks as you're knitting. And so this is the right side, and I was going to come back and maybe, I thought about going ahead and working around 17 or row 17 off the chart with you, but it's the same steps that we've just covered over and over. It just gets longer and longer each step, but the stitches just are the same. And so instead of doing that, what I want to do is go ahead and let you start knitting, because there's a lot, since there's so many rows, instead of trying to figure out how many repeats, how many times you want to go from 13 to 36, I would go by inches. How many inches long do I want my poncho? I'm short, and after I put the very bottom border, the 1x1 ribbing, the total length came to about 24 inches for me, because I'm not very tall. And I probably could have stopped a little. I might feel like it might be a little long, but I think mine was like 24. So what I want to do, because you can knit faster without me talking and going through, because we've already set up the pattern. You know exactly where you are and how to read the chart. And it's the same symbols over and over. I feel like I can go ahead and knit up to a certain point, go ahead and completely go up to 36 again, and come back and we'll talk and let you look at it, and so I can give you an off ramp. So I can tell you, for those that say, okay, Jay, because I'm going to call the original one, and I'll show you that when I come back, the gold one, or golden brown one, I call it my long version. Like I say, it's about 24 inches. I was thinking of making this just a little shorter, maybe a shorter version with a different bottom edge, so that you can get to choose which edge you want. Whether you want to do 1x1 ribbing, or I'll show you another little simple edge that you can do that I think will look really cute too. So that will be a help. But let's go ahead and knit and not take the time to try to, since it's already set up, I've already knit with you, shared with you how to do the repeats. Let's just go ahead and knit off camera. Then that way when I come back, I'll have a lot more for you to see. You can decide, you can take measurements and decide, okay, I want to stop, I want to, I know I'm going to continue. But it's a really pretty piece, and then give you the two bottom edges so that you can see. How about that? All right, I think that will help us both. You can knit faster, I will be able to knit faster, and then I'll come back when I get this to a length, like I said, but it'll be shorter than the original one, so that I can show you two different edges at the bottom. Well, all I can say is, I hope you're enjoying this. It's an easy knit, but just take your time so that you don't have to take anything out. Just take your time and just take row by row. But the main thing is, don't forget to flag the wrong side, so that all you have to do is just knit. And there's nothing else. And like I said, I'm going to come back shortly and show you how much progress I have, and give you an off ramp or two choices to end your poncho if you don't want to make, the original one. Try to give you something a little different. All right, happy knitting, and I will see you shortly. All right, my friends, I am back so that I can check in with you and let you see my progress, and then for you to check your progress and see if we're on the same page. And it's just real simple. when I left, we had already started the repeat process. This dark box is the repeat box, and I worked with you a couple of rows off this chart just so that you could see how to repeat and how to look for the landmarks. And then every so see, and then these 4 or 3 or 4 rows just repeat themselves. So that's why I thought it'd be better. You know, if you didn't have to listen to me talk and I'm trying to talk, you can work faster, you understand more, and you can read the stitches better if you're just able to just knit. And now we need to check in and see, you know, so I can show you, like I said, my progress. So I see, I don't think I need to show you anything when, when I, instead of trying to keep up with how many repeats, that was one of the things, instead of that, I found that if you would just decide on how many inches you want your poncho to be, on the original poncho, which I will show you in just a little bit, I decided to knit, to work the chart, I don't know how many times, but till I reached at least 20 inches for me. I'm short, and that's getting to be long, but 20 inches, and then that still left me at least 2 more inches to do the 1x1 ribbing at the bottom of that poncho, which I'll show you in just a little bit. So the whole thing came to 20, I think I went over 20, maybe 22, and then 2 more inches. So my whole total poncho on the original one, the long one, is 24 inches. So now what I wanted to do while I was knitting off camera is to work the repeat box, but stop this second one a little shorter, say 18 to 20 inches. And then we can come back and I can show you how to put a nice, simple, easy little edging on the bottom, and with a little boho look, just to give you a shorter version for those who might like a shorter version. So does that make sense? And if you could not, once we measure, and I'll show you, if you could not make it all the way up to, say, row 36 was the wrong side, it was the last row up here, and it was the wrong side. Row 26 is also a good place. You could say, okay, I'm going to work row 26. It's the wrong side. And Jay, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to add any more of the chart. So that's a good row to stop on because it's like the same, but it'll just be shorter. Does that make sense? All right, now I'm going to show it to you on my poncho so that you can decide, you know, if you want to continue or do the shorter version. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, so here is my progress on the second version. And as I said, I simply decided to stop on row 26, which is a wrong side row on the chart, and just, in other words, stop the chart there. I had worked enough that I was close to whatever, the length that I wanted. Plus, now I can add a little tiny border. All right, so once I stopped on a wrong side row, whether it's 36 or 26, all right, then go ahead and knit around, just knit around all the stitches for 3 more rounds. So you just knit, come back at the marker in the back. Let me just turn it over. You just continue to knit around. Every time you pass the marker, you pass the marker and continue to knit. So that will be 1, then 2, and then 3. So now I have knit around 3 complete times. All that does is to help close off and seal off all of these lace stitches that we don't want to have any problems with in case something goes wrong. So all I did was just knit. You can see the little extra knitting right there. Bring it a little closer. That seals off all those yarn overs and all that lace. So now I have a clean round to work with. And all I'm going to do on this shorter, simple, to put a little edging on it, is to put an eyelet row, to make an eyelet row. And the eyelet row will help us to just simply add our fringe. I just wanted a place to add the fringe instead of just trying to poke fringe everywhere or any place. There's going to be an eyelet that I can take and, put fringe in. So let me pull it down a little closer. on this side. So I'll turn my camera a little more on this side. And all we're going to do, I didn't count, I'm not counting. I'm not going to do all that because there's so many sizes. What we're going to do is just start out working evenly in this simple little yarn over stitch. And then as we get near the end of the round, we may have to fudge a little bit. I don't know. So I'm going to take my things off, and you can drop, and as we go around, since we've closed up all the yarn overs, front, all these, we can drop the markers as we go. So starting at the beginning of the round marker, you see my red marker. You know that's the beginning of my round. Now I don't have to worry about anything. I just want to end this, and I want a nice place to put my fringe. Alright, so all I'm going to do is knit 2. Everyone, everywhere, you knit 2 past, after you slide the marker. Then you're going to, I'm going to go ahead and move this. I'm going to just move a few stitches and move that over so I can have that stitch mark off. Okay, so I knit 2. Then I'm going to yarn over and knit 2 stitches together. Just like that. Let's go again. Knit 2. Yarn over and knit 2 stitches together. I have no idea if this is going to come out even or not. We'll fudge it when we get to the end. All we want to do is have little eyelets to put our fringe in so that it looks nice. So after you knit 2 stitches together, then just knit 2. 1, 2, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. Okay, knit 2 stitches, just 1, 2, now yarn over, now knit the next 2 together. They cancel each other out. And we will have a little yarn over eyelet row where those holes are. That's where we will have a place to put our fringe. So after I knit 2 together, then I'm going to knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. So we're not decreasing the bottom edge because they cancel each other out. Knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, now knit 2 stitches together. If you get lost, just go back and check. You can see the yarn over, knit 2 stitches together, then knit 2, 1, 2, okay. Yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. There's a knit 2 stitches together right there. Now knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. See, and there's no pattern, there's no lace for us to have to worry about in dropping stitches. But you can already see the little eyelet row forming. Can you see it? You know you do this all the time on all your shawls. Alright, so let's continue around, and I will meet you at the marker again. Alright, just get lost, go back and check. It's knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. Knit 2, yarn over, now knit 2 stitches together. Take your time and drop the markers as you go around. You don't need any more markers now. We're out of the pattern. We're freestyling. We're freestyling our shorter poncho, and it's going to have more of a boho look at the end instead of the dressy look like the long one. All right, I will meet you back in just a minute. All right, so I have been working my way around, and like I said, we are freestyling it. Hopefully it came out. If not, then you can just fudge. All we want to do is just wind up. Let me see, I just did a yarn over knit 2 together, so I'm going to see. Knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. And what do I have left? Okay, I have 4 stitches left, so let me see. So I'm going to knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, and I knit those last 2 stitches together. Mine came out just right. You know, I'd want to just end with something like a knit 2 stitches together, which is fine. If it doesn't, then back up and just knit 1, and then we'll fudge it. Like I said, we're going to freestyle this part, but you should come out with a decent number because all my numbers are very even and compatible. Alright, so once I do that, all you want to do is just get to the end, and then I have, oops, this is stuck on here. This is the beginning of my round marker right there. Okay, so now we're going to slide that marker. Now we have to knit around to take all these yarn overs off. So you just knit around, just like this now. Just want to make sure that you see. And then I'm going to take a minute and switch to the original version to get the people who are making the longer version, or my first, let's see what it looks like. I just want you to see what this looks like as you're just knitting around now, knitting all those yarn overs, every stitch. So there's the eyelet row. Okay, so now listen, you will knit around, taking all these, knitting all the yarn overs and all the stitches. Then you're going to knit around. Once you get back to the marker, you will knit around one more time and stop. Wait for me there, because now I'm going to go catch the people who are doing the original poncho to get them started on their border. So, but you can see how it looks. You're just making an eyelet row, and now you got to knit that row around and then knit one more round and stop and wait for me at the marker. And then I'm going to show you how I did the bind off to make it really nice and easy. Alright, there you go. See the eyelets? That's just a place for us to put our fringe at the end of the poncho. Alright, now I'm going to switch real quick without even changing the camera, because I have not talked to the people who are working the longer version. And I'm just going to lay it up here. Let me just kind of see how it looks on the camera, see where I am. If I need to change it, I need to back out a little bit. I think that will work. Let me just fold this up. Now, here's the version where the people where you worked yours as long as you wanted to work, just like the other version. But when you get down to the last row, whether it's row 36 or 26, you just need to finish that last row. Then you go and you're going to knit 2 rows. Just like that. You knit, you finish the last wrong side row, then you're going to knit around all the stitches, knit around again, and then you will start. Of course, I don't have a marker on this one, but you'd go to your marker. Just say, I'll just pretend like I've got a marker here. Just say this is my marker, because this one is finished. Then you go to your marker, the beginning of the round marker, and then you'd start with a knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. It's kind of hard to see on this dark, but you know the drill. We're just going to work the 1 by 1 ribbing. So you finish the wrong side, then you knit around. I'm sure I knitted around twice. Yes, knit around twice. That's to close up all those holes, all those lace stitches. It's very important to me that I always close that up for me. So I try to knit around at least twice. So after you finish the wrong side row, then just keep on knitting 1, and then again 2, and then you're ready to start. When you get to the marker again, then you'll knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and you're going to do that for you try to go about the same number, the same measurement that you used at the top. If you did about 2 inches or a little over, then, or 2.5, then try to do that. Then stop, because I'm going to show you how I bound off to get a nice bind off edge without looking all ruffly and all out of shape. So that's all you have to do. You will just make the bottom 1 by 1 rib stitch. You make it do the same number of inches that you did at the top so that they match. And then stop and wait for me there. And I will show both at the same time how I did my simple bind off in the round on the wrong side. You remember that? On the wrong side. And it gives you these pretty, can't see it because it's dark, but it doesn't give you any kind of wavy or gathered look. It just lays kind of nice and flat, but it has little beads on the end, which you can't see, but you'll be able to see it on the gray one. When I do it, I'm going to do it, I'll do some on that one so you can actually see the stitch. But you see how pretty and straight it is, how nice it looks. In other words, I didn't bind off in pattern on the right side. I'm going to bind off on the wrong side. All right, so now I'm trying to get to the end so that I can get this to you. I have people already messaging me, Jay, I'm ready, I'm ready. Okay, well, I'm trying to get it. It's on the way. It takes a lot out of you people. Look, I'm telling you, you got to have a full tank to do tutorials on the YouTube. My tank is about empty. All right, keep going. I've given you instructions. Just listen to them again so I don't have to keep repeating. And I will see you back in just a little bit so that I can show at the same time both ponchos, both bottoms, how I bind off on the wrong side in the round. All right, so we're almost to the finish line. And I am working on making it to my marker. I've already done this extra round that we need so that we could have a nice clean edge on the bottom. And I come up, I knit up to the round marker, and I stop. That's where the round starts and ends. Have a little marker, see that? Now we want to do a bind off, and this is going to be what you're going to work on the first version, the long version. You're going to do it just like I'm going to share with you, and you're going to do it on this version. And it just gives you a nice little clean edge, and wait till you see how simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this marker, okay? And then watch. I'm going to turn the work. This is the right side of the work. Now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to flip the work over. So now here's the inside of the poncho. Let me get all my yarn and get in the camera right. Get my camera situated. So now I have flipped the poncho over, and now you can definitely see this is not the right side. It's the inside, the wrong side, the real wrong side. I'm going to pull it down just a little bit just to stay in the camera frame. I might even take it down just a little bit. Just make sure you get a good view of what I'm going to do. Okay. So now we are going to bind off on the wrong side in the round. This is something I had just started doing for the last, I don't know, maybe I started about a year ago. I don't know. I don't know if it's right or not. I just knew at the time I started it, I needed something for a certain project I was working, and it worked great, so I just kept going. Now let me show you this. If you try to bind off all these stitches with this other section of the needle, you're going to have a lot of pulling and twisting of the fabric. So what I like to do is go ahead, take this needle, pull it up, and cap it. Go ahead and cap that one. We're not going to use that one. I'm just going to pull it up, make sure I'm still in the frame. That's the main thing, that I stay in the frame of the camera. Okay. Then I take another needle. I just use a small bamboo, a double point. but you just want to bind off with another needle instead of working with this one, because it's going to pull the fabric and you're just going to have, it just won't be a pretty bind off. Not as nice as this one, where I'm just going to, so now I can lay it kind of down and out of the way. See, it's not pulling on the fabric. I'm on the wrong side. We're binding off on the wrong side, but we're going to use the knit stitch. So I simply start out by sticking. You know, you have to start with 2 stitches to bind off. So I stick this needle in. I put the yarn. See, even though I'm on the wrong side, my yarn is going to be in the back. I'm going to knit. So I knit 1 stitch, stop, knit the next stitch, stop, now reach back and bind, pull the first stitch over there. You know how to bind off. There's the next stitch. See, there's no stress on the yarn, there's no stretch on the fabric. It will just glide. Knit the next stitch, reach back and bind off. Now you want to stay, you know, of course you always try to bind off loose. But normally when you bind off, especially on the front, you get this line. Even when we bind off in pattern, the 1x1 ribbing, normally you always bind it off on the right side. But I'm telling you, once I kind of start doing this, I like it. Now, it may not work for everything, but where I can use it, or when I can use it, I surely use it. Where I'm just knitting on, I'm on the wrong side of the fabric, but I'm using the knit stitch, and I just knit a stitch, reach back, and bind off. And then I will not have that funny line on the front of my work. I'm going to have just some little purl bumps. They'll look like little purl bumps, even though we have not purled. So that's another thing. All right, now I'm just going to put it up just for a second, because I like to always stop and kind of open up pull on the stitches a little bit. Now, you may not see it on this color, on this dark color, but you can see yours. If you look closely, you're going to see like a little line that sometimes it has a lot of tension on it in the other side, but when you turn to this side of the poncho, you're going to see just a little row of little purl. I call them my little perfect purl bumps. There's where this is how we're binding off. Look at the edge. And then, of course, we're going to come back later and put fringe in each one of these little eyelet holes. Now I'm going to do some more, just a little bit more, just so that you can see. Make sure the yarn is in the back, because we are using the knit stitch, not the purl stitch, even though we're on the wrong side. So I'm just going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to let you do that. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do at the end. Let me make sure so I can get this out to you. And if you do this poncho, either version, I hope you're learning to take pictures as you go. And then, take your pictures, and then you can send them to the I have a link at the end of each video to for my pictures. Just don't send them all at once. Send like 2 or 3, then wait a while, wait a little bit, and then send 2 or 3 more, if you have several. That way they'll, sometimes, for some reason, sometimes it'll block if you try to send to, I'm not no expert. I just know that sometimes it won't take them. Oh, so you see what I'm doing? And it feels so good. There's no tension on the yarn. There's no tension on the needle. If I was using this needle, it would be so tense, and all this fabric would be just pulling on it. Oh my gosh, if you just get another needle, it doesn't even have to be short. It can be just something other than, and it just, It's just nice and no tension on me, on my arms, or no tension on my wrist. I'm just binding off. I keep trying to do it nice and loose though. And then every once in a while I'll pull it up just for a second. And I'll stop and just kind of give a little pull on my fabric just to see, to make sure that I'm gliding. And look how nice and smooth that looks. That's on the wrong side. Now here comes the beauty of it. Here is the right side. Now when this is steamed, of course it's going to lay a little flatter and be a lot nicer. I haven't steamed it yet. So, for either poncho, either one you made, whether you did the 1x1 ribbing or you did this, you turn it just like I shared with you, and you cap it off, and then you start working backwards on the wrong side with the knit stitch and bind off one stitch at a time. Now how easy is that? Now let me bind off so I can show you how to end it. Everyone, you know, since we're coming back, because I want to make sure you know how to end it, how to sew the last little seam. So I will be back as soon as I finish binding off. Alright, take care, and I'll see you in just a minute or two. Alright, real quick, I come back. I have made it completely around, and I went ahead and even went to the ironing board some, and I can demonstrate that a little later. But right now I want to show you how to, once you've bound off the last stitch. Here's my last stitch right here, and as you know, when you bind off in knitting, if you're knitting in the round, you're going to have like a step down. That's just the nature of the stitch. So here's the yarn. I cut the yarn. There's the last loop where I bound off. Bring the yarn round to the front and bring it through the loop and pull it in the direction you were going. Okay, now that binds off that, or knots that last loop. Then I'm going to take my yarn needle and put the little tail in here. Let's see if I can get it in here. And we're going to take care of the little step down and just weave it in. Now this one on this fabric wanted to roll a little bit, but I'm going to show you how I steam it really well. So, alright, so there is the opening. This is where the last stitch I bound off, and since we went backwards, it leaves a nice little gap. See that little, not right there, that's just yarn. But you can see the gap, the step down. One is higher, this one's higher, and then you have to come down. So you take your, if you pull that yarn through the loop, then come up here and look at the top and find the first two stitches, or as close to, you go up under 2 strands. Right there on that side to try to, we got to bridge this together. Slowly pull it together. You're going to see it might still be a little, we're going to take care of that little, if there's a little hole or something, we're going to take care of that. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so now I brought those two together real slow and nice and even at the top. So now I'm going to take my yarn and go through under 2 strands on this side to help bring those 2 edges. Now pull them together, but don't overdo it. You can look at the front. See? Now I'm going to bring my yarn back on. Just push it back. Just go up under a stitch or anywhere to bring it back on the wrong side. Now you notice there's going to be like a little gap still there. This is where I'm going to take this yarn now. I'm just going to go a tiny bit on each side of that little gap. You don't have to go all the way through to the front, just a little, just a stitch, just tiny, and then you can work it back across. See, that little gap is still there, so you pick up just a little bit of the yarn on this side and a little bit of the yarn, and then you're going to pull it. Don't overdo it. Keep putting your finger there until that gap is no longer there, till you can't see it. So I still see it a little bit, because there's my finger right there. I still see it a little bit, so I'm going to pick up a little of this stitch and a little bit of this, the yarn in that stitch across from it. Pull it, And then I'm going to go ahead and do one more, maybe go back across and take care of whatever this little funny place I had here. I don't know what that is. Pull that. Look at it in the front. Make sure it looks invisible. Bring it real close. See, it's just straight across. It's invisible. Now you can just go at the top. You can just go up under one strand. You don't have to need two. And you're just going to go, you're just going to do your regular weaving in. You just go up under. You just work across. You don't need both strands. Just here on the back, since we're already on the back, you just go up under one strand. See, it just kind of goes along with the top edge. Go up near the top edge and go up under one strand. And you're going to do this for as far as you want to go to make sure it doesn't come loose. And then I like to, after I do it a little bit, then I like to come back. See, now I just went up to the top edge and went under one strand. We're on the wrong side of this poncho. And then once I go far enough, now I can just work my way back a little bit. Just come backwards. As far as you want to go. And to weave it in, just make sure you don't have any, that it looks good on the front side. Just on the back side is fine, but make sure it looks good on the front. I'm going to go this way on the back. Go back under like this. I'm just going back. And then once I think it's good enough, then you can just, I might come back and add a little more, but I'll go ahead and take my needle out. Alright, so now, let's go to the front of our poncho, and I'm going to give you a nice, I'll put it up on a hanger so that you can see it, but I just wanted to go and kind of give you an idea how it looks. And once, of course, I'm going to have the fringe, and oops, oh my gosh, I got to go way back now, don't I? Okay, now I'm going to go back and, of course, put some fringe here so that you can see it when I hang it up. You know how it's going to look. The main thing, it depends on what your yarn, your blend of yarn is made of, whether you do a wet block or steam it. This is just plain out of my stash, no particular, fancy grade of yarn. And all I did was use a warm iron. I think some of you may put your iron up too hot. Keep it's warm, but you don't want to put your hand on it. And I take a pillowcase, and I always steam on the wrong side. And it's better to steam more than once than to try to do it all at one time. Because you've got to get this little roll at the bottom. It's not going, I lay the pillowcase, I lay this over the tip of the ironing board, and then I lay the pillowcase right on top of this, and I kind of move my hand under there as I'm ironing. I actually iron on the pillowcase because I don't have the iron super duper hot. It's warm, too warm for me to keep touching it, but it's not super hot like I'm ironing my sheets or something. So you do that, then you move it around on the tip of the ironing board. You move it around like this. You just keep shifting the wrong side. On top of the pillowcase. You can actually run the iron over it if it's just warm enough. You can run it over. And then each time you have to unroll this. Make sure I'm getting this on camera. Yeah, you have to kind of unroll this a little because we did it on the wrong side, remember? But that line, you'll see it, it's on this side. I'd rather have these pretty, I'm going to call them pretty pearls. My pretty pearls on the front. I'd rather have that. And you just, on the pillowcase, just iron it. Stay away from the neck ribbing. You can get close up on the shoulders as you put this over the tip of the ironing board. This is not an ironing board here, but you know how you have the tip of the ironing board. You'd put the neck up there and slide this on, and then little by little, with the pillowcase and a warm iron, you lay the pillowcase on and you actually can iron it Just, you don't have to press hard, just lightly run the iron. Stop, look underneath, see if this is unrolling. If it, put a little more down here. And then, oops, I'm sorry, I hit the camera. I'm right here at the camera. I just want to get this on here because it's when I put it on, I was so surprised how pretty it looked because I was getting a little scared there. But once you steam it out, and you, like I say, you put the pillowcase, and you run it along, check underneath, unroll that, warm iron, and a pillowcase works wonders. Now, if your yarn is of some kind of blend that you wet block, then you know how to do that, and you know you may have to, whatever you can, to get this not to roll or to lay flat. Now, next time you see it, I will be done. I will have the fringe on, and now have all the little eyelets already in place for my fringe. I don't have to figure it out. I don't have to try to space them right. I just go into every space, and you can decide on how many strands of fringe you want. I like an odd number, maybe 5. We'll see how 5 looks. If 5's too heavy, well, we want something to help drape the poncho down. All right, let me get off so I can do that, and the next time you'll see it hanging up. We'll take some pretty pictures, and like I said, I'm giving you my pictures, and I want you to send me in your pictures, and I'm telling you, it is so pretty. Turns out really pretty. Both ponchos, the long one and this more little shorter version with the more boho. This is Jay. This is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam, bringing you my Autumn Breeze lace poncho. It was a long knit, but like I say, you have the knit alongs. I don't do knit along. It really could have been like a knit along where we just, but I work fast that I couldn't take a knit along where you just knit and okay. But you see how long it takes. It took me 3 parts to get all of this in, but I wanted to give you good details. I wanted you to see what I was doing and how I was doing it to save you a lot of time, headache, and trouble. So, all right, get yours, and I will see you soon. I'm thinking of, I don't know if I'll do anything really for December. I may put something, I want to revisit a video or something, but for right now, happy knitting to all my friends, everyone, everywhere, every size. See you later.